Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to RC with Adam. My name is Adam, and this is RC with Adam. Welcome back to RC with Adam. My name is Adam. I just wanted to see how many times I could say that in a row before you thought you were caught in a time warp. Yes, today is Friday. Welcome back. We are live on Instagram and YouTube. And we are going to be doing some flying on the FPV simulator. Today we are on the uncrashed FPV simulator. Let's switch over to that. As usual, we'll be taking questions throughout this because that's the main point of what we do here every day is be able to help you solve those burning problems and answer those burning questions before you burn too much and catch on fire, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we're going to do today. And, obviously, we're going to be doing the FPV simulator. Shibwham, there it is. But 3D printing questions are welcome as well. That's what we do here at RC with Adam Industries, 3D printing and drones. Primarily, that's what we do. But you know what? I am like a guy wearing many, many, many hats. So especially because we do there's a lot of overlap basically between this and a lot of other stuff. So I'm not sure if that's relevant, but if you have similar like questions to the RC drone 3D printing stuff, go ahead and ask those as well. I will try to monitor both chats, but it's going to be extremely difficult because, one reason I just realized I'm not even live on Instagram yet. There I am on Instagram. We're live on YouTube and Instagram right now. Everybody over on Instagram, hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. My name is Adam, and this is RC with Adam. So we are going to be just jamming out on Uncrashed today. Knocking the rust off, keeping our toes on our toes, and we are going to just check out what level do we want to check out. We've been to Urban Bando, Road Trip, Forest Bando. I think I liked the park. It's a little heavy on the old CPU there. The Meadow, that's classic. The Factory, Rallycross. I always like the Rallycross. Stadium's okay. Why don't we go to the dock? The dock looks like a fun place. Let's go there. I'm not sure how. Let's see. I just lost my mouse. That might be a problem. We'll see about that. Also, the audio. Hopefully, the audio is not a problem. Am I muted? I'm muted, right? Yes, we're muted over there. Super duper. Let me make sure my audio is coming through the right way. Nope, it's not. Okay, there we go. And hopefully we won't have too much of an echo or anything like that. So I don't know where we're starting. Let's just give this a try. And also we need to make sure that our sticks actually work. We're going to be using the Radio Master Pocket today. This is one of my favorite transmitters. Well, it is my favorite. It's my go-to. It's my primary. It's my one and only, basically. Oh, we got some cars moving around. Here we go. Yep, it's working, and we have a lot of up tilt, I think. That's what it was looking like. But we might need it to go catch these cars. And we should have, these stick, yeah, you can see this little stick cam. So when I move these little balls and the squares, that is what my sticks are doing. So that's kind of helpful, might be helpful. Personally, I think I've learned how to fly and all that stuff, like just through practice and trying it and seeing what happens. Not so much the more methodical, calculated way of like, okay, right stick moves left and then left stick moves left and up and then, like some sort of a choreographed dance. For me, it's just more of intuitive kind of feeling, I guess you could say, which I suppose there's, probably advantages and disadvantages to both of those. Wouldn't that be cool if quads made like cooler sounds instead of just like screaming like, oh, that was a good hit right there. Oh, we're going down, Captain. I can't hold it much longer. One of these cars we can get in, I think. Drive it around. Amazing. Amazing technology, FPV drones. They're so much fun. So much fun. It's like an out-of-body experience. It's really pretty neato, I would say. Oh, I missed it. There we go. Oh, got me. All right, looks like we don't have anything going on the Instagram side. I wonder if something's broken over there. Usually somebody's popping up at this time, but that's okay. Over on YouTube, yeah, it looks like everything's working okay. All right, it has been a quiet week for some reason, but that's okay. I get it. It's been a weird week for me, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's just been one of those weeks where you're like, why is everything so weird? It's weird. Had a lot of weather situations, and when you get your schedule thrown off, it makes things strange. We humans, we thrive on schedules and regularity and whatnot, even if we don't want to admit it. There it is. There's that car. Let's go find that car. So I have not chased drift cars, or I guess really any cars. Oh, there's a pole. It's funny because that's like, it seems like that's just such a common, almost a cliche with FPV drones, is like chasing drift cars. Probably akin to like with drone, like aerial videography, sort of traditional aerial videography with like Mavics and stuff. If you tell people that, they're like, oh, so you do a lot of weddings. It's like, why is that synonymous with weddings? It's probably the same thing where it's like, oh, you fly FPV drones? Oh, you must chase a lot of drift cars. It's like, no, not really. Not that that's bad or anything. But, it's been done. It's being done, and I like doing stuff that has not been done. But I'd still do it, given the opportunity, And I'm not saying that it's easy either. It's not easy. It takes a lot of skill to be able to really chase the car and get good shots of it and all that stuff. Probably a lot of fun. A lot of spinnaroos, you know what I'm saying? Yikes. But practice. Let's come up here and go through here and then do a little zip zap and then go in here and we're like, skirt. Hey, here's a question for you people. If anybody's watching this, do you like to have like a heads up display or not that? I mean, do you like to have a reticle? Do you like to have anything directly in the center of your FPV feed? Like, I like to have the voltage, primarily just the voltage, right at like dead center, low center. But I like to have it pretty much where you can see the stick graphics right now. That's like where I like to have my voltage. I don't like to, have to hunt for it in the corner and take my eyes off the center of the screen. And I don't usually have. Let's see. I'm trying to remember now. I don't think I usually have the grid turned on. I don't usually like doing the grid for FPV flying because I don't want to think that the grid is like a line, or I don't want to get something like a power line or other straight object mixed up with the grid and think like, oh, it must just be the grid that's on there. I think I have used the grid for some stuff though. It can be helpful for making sure that stuff stays centered, or to make sure you're not like banking like too much. But that would be more for like Cinewhoop type flying, small small drones, slow flying, indoors, stuff like that. Stuff like that. Oh yeah, there we go. And then of course, you know, one of the big things about when you are flying FPV drones and you're filming stuff is like having that high frame rate so you can slow it down later, because it might be that maybe you're not chasing the car super well, locked onto it the whole time, but then you get like those awesome shots of like you're coming up, you know, close to it, and you know, maybe you're like parallel to it and you're like, and then, you know, right before you crash into it, and it looks super great. So that's a big one. That's a big important thing to have, which is, you know, that is something to say for like, I don't know about the DJI O4 air units, but that is something that I've, you know, used GoPros for previously, that because they have really good slow motion on there. But there may be some other good options as well. Ooh, that was a close one. Let's go ahead and perch up here, huh? Let's go perch. Ah! Let's see. Gotta come in with a controlled landing here. Gotta get the... Yeah, now we're moving backwards. Come on now, move forwards. There we go. Nice, easy landing. And bring it to a stop. Wasn't quite perfect, but it's pretty close. Oh, it got me. It got me. Let's go ahead, for funsies, turn on... let's turn on the... I think it's under graphics. The FPV... Where'd it go? Okay, maybe not. Maybe it's under drone settings. No, it's not. Back. It's controls, probably. No, it should be graphics. Gameplay, audio, maybe that's what it is. There we go. Video signal loss. Let's turn it on. Let's turn it to low, I guess. Propeller damage sensitivity. Realistically, it should be probably medium is fine. Battery simulation. Let's go ahead and enable that, because that is always a big like part about real life. It's like that's actually how it's, you know, going to be in real life. Hey, I see we have some people on the Instagram side now. Welcome. We're flying some uncrashed here. Getting some FPV sim time going here. Whoa, look at that car just coming in hot. Wow, it's the uncrashed car. That means you can't crash it. And then we're getting that video signal loss. A lot more loss there. I wonder if they have updated it yet, or updated other simulators to show not the analog loss, but more of the digital. Oh boy, and pull up. Oh, I'm still in the building. No. Was flying blind there. Oh, I almost made it. Almost made it. Zoinks. Done for. There it is again. Let's go. Let's get on its tail here. It's gonna go through here. It's gonna go through here, and then let's get lined up so that even if we lose video signal, like we just keep on flying. And there we go. We got out. Woo, that was scary. Oh, I almost made it through. I think, maybe. So yesterday we were looking at the Cadex Ascent. VTX and goggles, which is quite bananas because it's like $35 for digital FPV. For the VTX, not for the goggles as well. Oh my goodness, I can't see anything. I'm scared. Ah, okay. We're okay. All right, let's go to a different place. The place is pretty neat, but I want more of a vertical place. Horizon's cool, but it has like lots and lots of buildings. Maybe too many buildings. Drone Fest, the Sanatorium, Arctic Island. The grasslands is cool. That looks a little snowy. Nighttime. Yeah, sure. Let's try that. Let's do it. Let's do it. And yeah, it's going to look a little weird on the Instagram side because it's, you know, we're only getting part of the screen, unfortunately. But that is just kind of how it's going to have to be right now. Let me check something. Let me make sure this guy's working. Looks like it is. Oh, that's kind of weird. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, that's okay. That's perfectly all right. All right, let's get back to the game. There we go. So, what is this place? The lake, the barn. Are a lot of places to go here. Let's just get started wherever we start. I might want to turn off that FPV feed simulation. It's a little annoying. This is a kind of a good one if you want to, you know, kind of practice maybe flying in like sort of an event space. It's kind of a small area. You have lots of things dangling. Oh my gosh. You know, this would definitely be one of those things where it would look really cool to have an FPV drone flying over this area, going through stuff, you know. The funny thing about a lot of the FPV drone fly through things is that I think a lot of people don't realize how much sound design is involved with that. There's like kind of a lot. And that's like a huge like part of it afterwards. Or the you know, yeah. All right, let's go check out this. So we got the barn. Is that the barn? Because that's like actually really close. I don't like this. Yeah, this is definitely not so much like a game when you have the simulation, FPV feed simulation turned on. Where am I though? Am I right here? What, like, oh yeah, there I am. Can I, do I turn? Because like, dude, you shouldn't be standing there. You should be like out, like over, like get on top of this thing or something. Look around with your head. Anyway, that's cool. If we get up nice and high, we'll probably be okay. It looks like we have, oh, I believe this is Santa's sleigh because we are at the North Pole apparently. So we can just chase down Santa's sleigh here, coming up on it, and let's try. Oh, we're losing it. We're losing it. I like that it has. Oh, it's apparently going actually extremely slow. I like how it has a bunch of drones on there. That's a very nice touch. Very clever. Santa looks a little creepy, though, to be honest. Can I crash into them? Oh, yeah, I can, sort of. Interesting. What has... I'm trying to remember if it's this simulator or another one where you can fly with, like, other aircraft. I don't know. I'm not sure which one. Let's see. So I'm in this area. There's the lake, and then there's another barn. Let's go to the other barn. Let's see what's up with that. Oh, these are kind of crappy barns, to be honest with you. It looks like they've seen some better days. Oh, 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 no, I caught the window, No, no, oh. Let's restart. You know, I'm really looking forward to the day when drones don't make such a hideous sound. And I'm sure, like, maybe the technology is already out there, because I'm sure that it would be very beneficial to many people to be able to make drones, especially FPV drones, not sound like FPV drones. But I think there's only so much one can do based on physics and whatnot. Although, as I found with my own testing, the best way to make a drone sound quiet is to just make it really light. That's really, that you're gonna get the best option there. Wow, and why is it going blank? See, it should not be going blank. So if I turn around, it's fine. See, this is kind of like what I've been talking about. I think this is what it's replicating, is that if I am flying towards, if I'm flying, how's that? If I'm flying away from myself, the antenna works better. But then if I turn around, so if it's like, oh, it's kind of staticky. Wait, let's see, right there maybe? It's like, oh, I'm dying because I haven't paid attention to my battery because it's all the way over there. Okay, yeah. Yeah, let's just go ahead and turn off the battery simulation for now. But it's cool to know that it's there, and it's handy for that usage. Let's disable that and disable the battery simulation. Yeah. Enable cars, enable HUD, enable crosshair. Artificial horizon. I never liked having the artificial horizon. However, potentially the artificial horizon could be very helpful. I guess if you're doing more of probably more long range, but potentially it could be very helpful if you do lose video signal, or if you lose visual, basically, because if you lose the video signal, it's not going to help you. Stick overlay, draw race line. Yep. Yes. Sound version, V2, V1, V2. Interesting. All right, so save and resume. Let's go somewhere else. I don't like this snow. It makes me feel cold. Let's see, we have the stadium, the dock. What is another? Wish they would show the places that have cars. We could go out to the desert, the mountain hangar, the city park. Let's go to the desert, huh? How about that? They probably have cars out there. Probably. Okay, well, welcome everybody. If you are just joining me, we are doing some FPV flight simulation stuff right now. We're doing uncrashed, and hopefully it's coming through pretty smoothly for you guys. We are live on YouTube and Instagram, and if you guys have questions about drones or 3D printing, please leave them in the chat, and I want to try and pay attention to the chat. Let's see, we've got the container land rig. What is this, a drag strip? Dragway? Drag strip? Yeah. Cool. Okay, let's give it a try. Here we go. Do a little punchy punch out. Is it a runway? I don't know. It's a road. Fascinating. It appears to be blocked with shipping containers. Weird. I was really hoping that there would be like airplanes that would land and stuff. That would have been cool, man. There's not a whole lot going on out here in the desert, actually, as it turns out, which, you know, maybe that would be kind of obvious based on the name of the desert. Ooh, good. I was worried I was going to clip the end there. Oh, I thought it was going to be open on the top, and I got hit. Yikes. Oh, I made it through both doors, but then I hit the chain link fence. Bummer. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing there. Let's do a race. Pew, pew, pew. I don't know where I'm going, man. These races. I am not a racer. It is fun. It is fun, and it's a good discipline. It is useful, but it doesn't always translate to to real world flying. Well, it's just a different style of flying, I should say. Certainly, if you practice racing, you will fly better overall, but then your whole style of flying, oh wait, was I supposed to go there? Will just turn into racing. And I know this is so sloppy. I know it is. Don't judge me. Oh, oh. But remember, when you're first just getting started with, well, especially with just flying or racing, like, just think of it as like, hey, you completed the race and you didn't crash out. Like, that's a great first step. Boom, check it out. 1 minute and 45 seconds. And the gold did it in just 43 seconds. So yikes. Yeah, I could have done a whole lot better on that one. I would say so. Let's go back to free flight. Actually, what even else is there in this desert? It's very deserted. So let's see what else we got. We got these guys and then this container over here. Go. Is that the same thing? Does it just look further away? Yeah, it looks further away, but it's the same. It's the same area. Interesting. Okay, cool. Let's go to some other place. Let's see, the racetrack, that's always a good one. The Forest Bando? That one, those two look very similar. The Sanatorium. Let's go to the FPV Drone Fest. Did we do that one? Don't think we did. Let's go there. Let's give it a try. Drone Marshal, I see you on Instagram. Welcome. Welcome. We're playing Uncrashed, or not playing, we're doing serious flight training on Uncrashed FPV Flight Sim. And right now we're just doing free flight. Whoa. Ow, 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 ow. Stop it. Ow, ah. Does anybody else say ow when they crash? Like, I know it doesn't hurt me. Well, at least not like physically, but it kind of does. Because it hurts my feelings. It hurts my drone's feelings. And I know how that would feel if I was the drone. Insta 360? Whoa. Why isn't RCwithAdam up there? Huh. Zoop. Oh, they got like a whole road here. Do they have cars on the road? I don't see any cars. Oh no, I can't even go that far. It won't even let me. It won't even let me go that far. Okay, fine. Ow. 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 Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, ah, ooh, ah. Wall ride. Haha. Going in, out. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go in here through the broken window. Boom. So smooth. All right, this place is not. It's cool, kinda, but not super cool. I like. Let's go to Rallycross. That's just a classic one. I like Rallycross. Does that say snow or is that sunshine? Okay, that's sunset. That's sunshine. Let's go to sunshine. Sunshine Rallycross. Drone Marshal says, "How much do you pay for Uncrashed?" Uncrashed. I don't remember. I think it's $30 or under $30. I don't remember, but you can find it on Steam. I guess they have a website, but I get it from Steam. And Uncrash right now is my favorite one. But, you know, mostly they're all good. It just kind of depends on what type of flying you want to do. For example, I hear that Velocidrone is specifically really good if you're into racing. But Liftoff, Uncrashed, Trip, obviously, you know, those are all good for FPV and, freestyle and free flight and stuff like that. Because it's all FPV drones. And what I like to tell people is the best free FPV flight simulator is going to be FPV Skydive from Orca. Orca FPV Skydive. Wow, they just magically pop back up. It's amazing. Man, you really gotta punch it on those straightaways. It's cool. Oh, kind of losing them. We're getting too high. Too high. Now they're tiny little dots. Gotta get closer. So right now, I really like Uncrashed. To me, it just feels the most realistic, or it feels like how I expect my quad to fly. But at the same time, it's all very subjective, And another factor could be cost. It could also be just the levels and the maps that different sims have. Like, I think Trip has, that's TRYP. I think Trip has a lot more things you can chase. Like, I'm thinking, I recall that it has levels where you can chase motorcycles and like, I think like hang gliders and like maybe even like wingsuit jumpers, stuff like that. Maybe even an airplane or something. I feel like there's something else that was flying. So Uncrashed does have vehicles, and then they have, what do they have? They have the vehicle. Yeah, they have some vehicles. I think they have the motorcycles in the like the monster truck arena. But I don't think they have as much as Trip, and I think Trip might have the largest maps as well. But I think I was having some crashing issues with Trip. I want to say, but I mean, that was a little while ago, so maybe that isn't even a problem now. So I don't want to say like that's a reason to not get it, because I might have fixed that. I'm on a Mac also, so some of sometimes that can be a difference as far as the reliability of the simulator and stuff like that. So that might be something to consider. Also, like, they sometimes they can take up like a lot of space. Like, I think Velocidrone takes up like 50 gigs, 50 gigs, and then what is Trip? I think Trip is like, or I'm Uncrash. I think Uncrash is like 18 or something. I think Liftoff is around that as well. So it's it could also be your what your computer can handle. That might make a big difference as well. We've got Outlaw 271 on YouTube. It says, "Hi, I'm brand new to 3D printing. Where can I find settings to 3D print PA6CF? I'm printing it now, but I find 2 to 3 millimeter holes don't come out right. I'm using a 0.6 hardened nozzle and gears." So this is the first time I've tried flying and reading, actually. So I think it's working out okay. Where can I find settings to 3D print PA6CF? So that would be, I'm not sure what PA6 is, but we're talking about nylon, right? Carbon fiber nylon. So what, whoa, that truck just like exploded. What's your printer? What is your printer, and what is your brand of filament? Because that's going to make a big difference. And usually 3D printer manufacturers have the settings for their filament. I'm sorry, 3D. I apologize. I'm a little bit distracted right here. So let me just like, I want to just land here, and maybe can we do a replay on here? Is that possible to watch the replay? Replay. I wanted to. All right. Save last 2 minutes, and then let's play it. Open replay. I just figured that out. That's cool. Interesting. Okay. So Outlaw 271. So PA printing with PA6, your small holes in the model, 2 to 3 millimeter holes don't come out right, and you're using a 0.6 hardened nozzle. So yeah, I mean, a 0.6 nozzle, you should still be able to have 2 to 3 millimeter holes working well. So you have a P1S, you're using the Bamboo PA6CF filament from their website. Okay. Excuse me. So what is not coming out right? Like, what is the issue with it? Are the holes like the wrong size, or, and then also if it's a vertical hole, like, standing upright like on the Z-axis versus laying down flat on the print bed. That's going to make a difference as well. And my first thoughts as far as printing with the carbon fiber nylon would be that maybe it's not dry enough, because with those nylon filaments and specialty carbon fiber filaments, a lot of times you really need to make sure they're nice and dry. So that could be an issue. What I always tell people, whoops, no, go back to that. Or actually, we will pause that. So check out this printing guide. I don't know if this is going to help you in your specific situation, because it very much is likely due to the filament. But check out the Simplify 3D Print Quality Troubleshooting Guide. And also, I think on the Bamboo Lab wikis, they have a lot of troubleshooting information. But you can see this and see if it matches up to anything that you're getting, and then that might explain what your issue is. And I know if you're a beginner, it's hard to explain what the issue is in writing, because you might not know the right words to describe it, or what exactly is the issue and all that stuff. Yeah, so let me know what you mean. Give me more details about the 2 to 3 millimeter holes that don't come out correctly, because that would make a difference. And then, yeah, so like, what is the orientation of them? Like, are they vertical or flat? Outlaw says, I used their base settings and it wouldn't even print. It just clogged. I dried it for 80 degrees for 24 hours. Okay. I find the holes are oval shaped. I'm printing them on the Z axis. Okay. So as in like they're standing upright. I think that's what you're saying. He says, I upped the temperature to 295 and it's printing. Okay. Let's just jump over there. Let's see if we can kind of figure this out. Also, another, like, I mean, a lot of times you can find out stuff by just doing a Google search, or and especially with all like the AI assistants that all of the different search engines have, that can sometimes like solve your problems pretty quickly. But what am I looking for? I'm looking for filament. Here we go. Filament. We want carbon fiber, or PA6. Is that what you said? Yeah, that's what you said. PA6CF. Okay. Go away, pop-ups. All right, so PA6CF, nylon 6, carbon fiber. Interesting. Okay, but we want the... Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so you followed their recommendations. Nozzle temperature. So you said you upped the nozzle temperature to 295, so above what it even is saying it should do. Yeah, it's tricky diagnosing this without just seeing a picture of the 3D print. I wish there was an easier way of like being able to do that. Yeah, so and the holes are oval shaped. Why would the holes be oval shaped? That's a good question. Let's go to... You've probably already like looked up the Bamboo Lab wiki, but this might help. Let's go to wiki and let's just search this. Let's search. Oh, it looks like... Oh, my apologies. Sorry, I forgot. I've got the settings set there. Boom, there we go. Rookie mistake. I didn't have the proper windows showing on OBS, so my apologies. It was just, you were seeing nothing. It wasn't much to look at. Anyway, I was just searching the Bamboo Lab website. Do I have a Discord? No, I do not have a Discord right now. or at least I shouldn't. I had one a long time ago, but then I couldn't like keep up with it and stuff, and it wasn't really helpful. So I got rid of it. So that would be PA6. PA6. Actually, well, really the problem is like oval holes. I don't know. Is that really? No, that's reusable spool. Okay, that's not really helping. Let's just do. I mean, you've probably already searched this, but now you got me curious of why this would be happening. 3D printing nylon, or we'll just say PA6. PA6 CF. That's too much, actually. Let's just say 3D printing round holes and up oval. So 3D printerly. See what the search assistant says. If your 3D printed holes are coming out oval instead of round, it may be due to loose X and Y axis belts or incorrect calibration of the extruder. Tightening the belts and ensuring proper calibration, blah, 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 blah. It's amazing, the AI stuff. It's just so useful how it like puts the information in a very usable, understandable way. Not always correct, but a great starting point. So that's, yeah, I mean, that's possible. That would be like a very rudimentary problem, potential problem. Drone Marshall probably said this a million years ago, but it says trip is about 30 gigabytes because we were talking about the FPV drone simulators. Interesting. Holes not round, unprinted model. Holes in walls. Affects 3D printed circles not coming out round. So like what's weird about that is that a lot of these types of that type of issue is like kind of rare as far as like your printer like having to like tighten the belts and like calibrate it and stuff, because everything is so like auto calibrating and stuff, especially the Bamboo Lab stuff. Outlaw says, how do I communicate that the holes are printed up layer by layer and are in the side of the piece? That's a good question. I guess that would be that it is printed in a, I would call that a vertical orientation, so that the circle is vertical as opposed to the circle is horizontal. Like the vertical is sorry, the circle, I guess you could say the circle is vertical and it is perpendicular to the build plate. So the circle is going to be perpendicular. You got the circle like that on the build plate, as opposed to printing flat on the build plate. That is what I'm thinking. And also if you say it's in the side of the model, then that would also indicate that it's on a side. Can I show a picture? I don't know. Let me see here. What do we got here? Let me see what we've got. Let me see what we have here. Let me see if I can come up with something. This is, I'm finding some stuff, but it's really old. Yeah, that's, well, that's not super old, I guess. 2023. Kind of surprising. It does look like loose belts could be the problem. It seems to be like there's a lot of things pointed towards that. Let's see. Oh, okay. Here we go. Here's a picture. So the hole is parallel to the build plate. what you're saying. Hole is parallel to the build. Yeah. So yeah, I could see how that could be confusing. To be honest, I'm not sure what there's like a technical standard. There probably is a technical standard type of jargon for that, but I'm not totally sure what it is at the moment. Here's something I found from the Bamboo Lab community forum. They're saying holes not round in printed model, so they're showing in the slicer, and then they're showing how it turns out. And so in this case, we have the z-axis would be the up and down of this picture. So you're going to print layer by layer along the x and y axis, and then the vertical axis is the z-axis, and that's going to be stacking the layers. So yeah, and this is kind of like a pretty common issue in the sense of when you have it stacked vertically, depending on how it is sliced and designed, you will have a situation where, especially if you don't have good layer height, it can only do, like, the resolution gets a lot worse for the circle. So you're going to have a more rough circle because you're only stacking a certain number of layers, as opposed to when it's laying flat on the build plate and it's horizontal and sort of a parallel with a build plate, then you can do like almost a perfect circle. Okay, Outlaw says, yeah, that's exactly the problem. Yeah. So that's the actual problem. So what I would say, well, first of all, I mean, one thing to do would be to print it with normal PLA filament. So if you have not printed with normal PLA filament, I would absolutely recommend you do. Maybe do, or whatever you're printing, if you're able to, if it's a small enough model or whatever, like print it in PLA. So then that way you can actually test out to make sure that it's going to work right and the dimensions are right and stuff, because that PA6 isn't cheap either. So that could be a good option. And then also it would tell you if you're having the problem with regular filament, and then it would tell you if the filament is the problem or not, which could narrow down a lot of issues. Because if you're having the same problem with multiple filaments, then it's not the filament. And if it's totally fine with PLA, then there is something about the filament settings. So let's see, does anybody have a solution here? So we're saying bridging could be a factor. You could also do supports. Oh, this guy says he printed it with supports, but he just removed it to take a better screenshot. Okay. So this person says blah, 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 blah. So far, the only real solution seems to be either using a non-Bamboo Lab printer or print it vertically. Well, you could change your bridging settings potentially. This person says, I've tried every setting. Week, nothing worked. In the end, I had to resort to printing the parts vertically. And the difference is night and day. Right. So, yes. So this picture, can we zoom in on this picture? This picture is showing the difference between printing vertically. Well, what does they say? They say they printed. Well, they say they printed the parts vertically, but again, that can be confusing. Point is, up top, this is what printed on the side. As you can see, the layers are stacking up vertically, like top to bottom. On the bottom picture, or the bottom example in the picture, it is printed like this would be like a top-down view. So like you're looking down at the print bed of the printer, and that is what we're getting. So we're getting a nice hole like that. So yeah, that's kind of just partly due to gravity. But generally, if you want to make that not as bad, like, because the part of the issues with especially the top parts of the hole, like the upper parts is just gravity and the filament sagging down. So potentially one thing you might do is turn down the temperature and then within the limits set for the filament, but turn down the temperature, and then I would slow down the bridging so that it is able to kind of like, what would you say? It's basically able to cool more instead of sitting there sagging because it's super hot. So that would be my suggestion to fix that. As far as you said, the nozzle was clogging. Let me check if you read that right. I used their base settings and wouldn't even print. It just clogged. I dried it for 80 degrees. Dried it 80 degrees, 24 hours. Find the. You said you up the temperature to 295 and it is printing. Yeah, that's weird. I mean, that shouldn't. If the range is 260 or whatever it was to 295, that's weird. Over on Instagram, Blind Techie says, "Hi, bro. I am 17 now, and I am your subscriber since 9 years old. Is that possible? Whoa, I guess it is. Well, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your long subscribership. That's wow. I feel super old now. Whoa, whoa." That's pretty crazy. Well, I hope you learned something. I hope I've helped you somehow with through all those years, because it's been like 10 years or something. So that's cool. Thank you. Thanks for subscribing. Right now we're trying to help out Outlaw 271 on YouTube because the prints are turning out like this, essentially trying to print holes, what I would say vertically, in the sense of the hole is, how do you say that? The circle is perpendicular to the print bed. So basically printing the hole as it prints up vertically. Outlaw says, "Thank you, check Kofi." Oh, okay. Thanks. Thank you, Outlaw. Appreciate that. I will. Man, I haven't even used Kofi too much. Kofi? I still don't even know how it's pronounced, but thank you for that. It's where was I? So we were talking about, so we're talking about this. So basically that's what I would suggest. So that to help potentially fix this, print at a lower temperature because you're going to get better print quality, kind of. You'll have kind of sharper prints, and turn the bridging speed down and just test it out, and maybe do a bridging test, like over here at and I also mentioned checking out this troubleshooting guide. This is one of the good ones, but you can do a bridging test, and the idea is to see different settings and how far you can bridge. Now, a lot of these bridging tests, like I don't need to bridge super far. Like here's a picture of a bridging example. So a bridge is when you print over nothing, or you print over air, and you're extruding the filament to get to the other side. And some of it's going to sag, but then surprisingly, as it kind of like the fans will cool it down, so it kind of like is able to extend it across. It's quite fascinating. But my understanding is that you would think that printing faster would be a better way to get across the bridge, because you're almost like when you go, really fast over water, you start skipping over it, and so you won't sink. Well, that's not the case. It's actually better, apparently, to print slower as you bridge, and that way the fans can cool the filament and you have less sagging. In fact, I just did some bridging tests using 3D Fuel because I'm testing that out for temperature and stuff. And printing at a lower temperature improves the bridging. So definitely check that out. Also, printing with supports. So maybe they mention it, but also check this out. Can I let me see if I can send that to you. Can I put it in the chat? All right, I put it in the chat. Let me know if that link goes through. Outlaw says, thanks for the help. I will lower the temp. Give me better. Will a lower temperature give me better adhesion to the plate? No. I find my last 3 prints failed halfway through with a brim. They broke off the bed. Not necessarily. So generally, no. But what will help is increasing the bed temperature, the build plate temperature. Now, PA6, I believe. So let's see. You got that link? Yeah. So I sent that link. This looks like a pretty good kind of reference point, like we talked about. And then I don't know if they came up with a solution. Yeah, so there's some ideas. They're saying basically like don't make it a circle, because for a lot of engineering stuff, you don't need to make something a circle. Just make it almost a circle and then have a straight bridge going across. That could help, because the other issue that you run into is when you have holes, like in you're stacking up the layers. Some of it might be like an overhang layer, like the layer is going to overhang a little bit over the last layer that you printed. So if your temperatures are really hot, they might kind of like sag in and it won't be as clean or sharp. So definitely check that out. But printing at a lower temperature, no, it won't. As far as I know, it will not necessarily give you better build plate adhesion. Where was my thing? Where did I go? Where was my bamboo? Bamboo lab, where'd you go? Okay. Sure. All right, we'll just go here. So bamboo lab. Let me find that. I was gonna look at the specs on the PA6. Outlaw, what are you printing? Can I ask what you are printing? Doesn't that seem silly to ask? Can I ask? And then you ask the question? That seems weird. Anyway, just curious, what are you printing? Because that would kind of help us get an idea of like potentially what direction you'd want to go. Like for example, if you're printing something and it has to look really great and look nice, then you might not want to do certain things that you could do if you were just printing for as like a functional part, that type of thing. Yeah, okay, nozzle temperature 260 to 290, and then bed temperature with glue. So they're saying with glue, 80 degrees to 100 degrees. I don't remember if you said what your bed temperature was. But generally, the suggestion, if you want to get better build plate adhesion, is, well, one, print slower on your first layer. Print like, I would say like really slow, like 30 millimeters per second on your first layer. Maybe even turn down the movement speed, so that way it doesn't like rip up the first layer, and then print with a hotter build plate, and then maybe have a hotter filament temperature on the first layer, and that could help everything kind of stick better. So what does with glue mean? That's a great question. So with glue, they're talking about some type of, typically like the old school method is to just put glue stick, like actual Elmer's paper glue stick on your build plate. But now they have, many different manufacturers have like basically glue that's made for filament. Where is this? I'm getting lost here. I'm so lost. Okay. Where is it? Okay. Anyway, Bamboo Lab has that. Filament accessories. Nope, that's not it. Fiber. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Okay. I don't know where it went, but they sure had it. Spare parts, maybe? Spare parts. Okay. That's weird. Anyway, so they have like a glue stick. I have personally used Magigoo is what I have used. I feel like they would mention it. I thought they would advertise it here somewhere, like why wouldn't they advertise it? I don't know. Strange. So anyway, basically it's, you put it on the build plate and then yes way outlaw. Yes, that's actually that's what it is. It seems weird. So here's the thing. I hate doing that. I hate using glue stick. So what I have done is let me pull this. Let me see if I can pull this up here. So I use well, like I said, I've used Magigoo. Magigoo's not bad. Let me bring this up here. No, I don't want to do that. Just let me. Oh, just leave me alone. Okay. I'm just pulling it up so that I don't have a bunch of distractions and stuff up. All right. There we go. Okay, so Amazon. I don't know if I don't think I have a link to this in the description, but I do have an affiliate link for Amazon if you want to use it. But so Magigoo, this one, they say that this one's for ABS, PLA, PETG, so not for nylon. I know they have another one. So there's Creality 3D printer glue stick. I guess no, that's Creality. Sorry, I was getting mixed up there. Magigoo. This one says for nylon filaments. So my whole thing is I do not like using glue. I used it for a long time and I got tired of it because one, it leaves residue on the bottom of the print, and two, you're gonna have to reapply the glue and then dust sticks to it and stuff, and it's a pain. It's a pain. So I don't know about for nylon, which by the way, the type of build plate that you use is gonna make a difference as well. So I can't remember what they recommend for that. Let's go back. Where are we? Here we go. Here we go. Recommended smooth PEI plate, textured PEI plate. Not recommended is the cool plate super tack. So if you're using the smooth PEI plate or the textured PEI plate, that should work okay. You have whatever I believe the textured PEI plate is the standard plate. It looks gold and it has like a bunch of textures, like an orange peel on it. So that's usually a nice sticky plate, and that would work well. But what I've used for PLA and mainly PLA, PCTG as well, is the what's it called? BQ Cryo Grip. I have the Frostbite, I believe. So and Bamboo Lab has a similar one to this. The whole idea is basically that it's a certain texture of build plate, which I actually super duper love, but you can print at lower temperatures. It looks like this one is, I think it's only recommended for PLA and PETG. So this won't really help in your nylon situation, especially because nylon is supposed to be printed at a higher temperature because it warps so much. So that's a big part of it. This does say ABS right there, ABS 100 degrees. Does it, I mean, they're talking about the build plate, right? Because it says on there PETG 50 to 70 degrees. You might try it. It might work. Does it work? To ensure printing stability with different ABS material between manufacturers, preheat the bed to 70 degrees and print a 20 millimeter test cube at the edge of the platform. Okay, well, anyway, so you may want to potentially look into a different build surface. But so basically, I don't do a ton of printing with specialty materials. I do have carbon fiber nylon and I have printed with it. Can't remember if I've used the glue or not, but it is kind of one of those situations, especially with nylons, where if you're going to print with it, you may as well use the glue stick and everything you can so that it will stick, which means printing with a high bed temperature, maybe like higher nozzle temperature on the first layer, like we talked about, and also the an enclosure. Oh, wait, do you have an enclosure? That's what I just realized here. Did you say you have the P1S? P1S. Does the P1S have an enclosure? I can't remember. So printing with an enclosure, that's a big deal because you need to keep everything hot so that it doesn't warp. Because if it warps, it's going to come off the build plate. So that's the big deal with that one. Yeah. Okay, Outlaw says it's a 100% functional few parts. Gotcha. Yeah. So if you have, it has an enclosure. Okay, good. So if you have designed it yourself, you could go in there and maybe, make some changes to the design like we talked about with the holes and make it so that the holes are, let's see, what are they showing here? They say you can add a teardrop to cut to the top of the circle, which will mitigate below a photo of how I did this. I don't see how would that help solve that problem? I guess it could work, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess obviously it does sort of work, but seems like a better idea would be to just do the circle and then almost, I guess you're adding space to it. I guess if you could make it smaller, if it was okay for it to be smaller, you could cut off the top of the circle and flatten it, or you could add it like it is here. So you're adding straight cuts to the circle. Okay, Outlaw says he just added glue stick to the plate. That's right, because it comes with glue stick, doesn't it? I think it does. Or if you have some glue stick, you could give it a try and just do a generous, coat. If you know the thing that you're printing is just going to be in one spot of the build plate, you don't have to cover the whole build plate. But you also don't need to go super crazy with it. But like, just make sure that there's a bit of glue across the entire surface that you're printing on, and that you're not like missing spots. So that's basically it. Those are the big things with printing with nylon: is glue, hotter build plate, hot first layer, and then enclosure so that everything stays hot, and print slowly. That usually helps, especially the first few layers, to print slowly. And and a brim. And you said you used a brim, but it came off somewhere. You said that. Yeah, you said your last 3 prints failed halfway through. With a brim, they broke off the bed. So, like, I guess the brim broke off the bed too. Because if they broke away from the brim, you could make the brim basically just like attached to it, which isn't always like the most ideal. Bringing up Bamboo Studio, you can, if we say we add primitive, let's add like a, whatever, let's add a cube. So if you add a cube, and let's press S to scale it and change the shape. So if it's like this, and it's like really, if it's a really, tall, narrow parts are awful for warping. Like that's when you have a big, well, I would say tall, narrow parts. And then also if they're just like really, there's a big area, it tends to warp on the corners and stuff. So that can be tricky as well. But, generally when you have a not a lot of surface area touching the bottom, or it's like uneven, it tends to warp like on the long ends. So you could add a brim, and let's just go to global for this instance here. Go to others, bed adhesion. You could do, the brim is what you'd want to do, and then you could do outer brim only. And you could say 5 millimeters, you could say 0.1. If you do this, like, it's probably going to stick to the part, and then you're gonna have to like kind of strip it or cut it away with a razor blade, which is sometimes really annoying. So if I do have to use a brim, a lot of times I'll do like a 0.18 or even a 0.2 millimeter gap, which will still help it stick, but it'll pull away much better. So if we slice the plate there, that's what we get. And you can see there is a little bit of a gap, but it's going to and very likely it will just smush in there, kind of there. You can, yeah, depends on how much it'll smush. So you could add a brim, and then you can go to, let's see, I hope you can see this. I think you can see this. You will go to, so you said the brim came with the part. Huh. Okay. And then you could go to, you could change the layer height if you need to on the initial layer. And then let's see here. So to be able to change the filament temperature, I really don't like how Bamboo does this. Maybe this is Orca Slicer, I'm not sure. But in any case, what you need to do is go into the filament that you're going to use, click on the little circle with 3 dots next to it, click edit, and then you have your options. Well, you have all of your print options, your basic information, your flow ratio, density, all that stuff. If you're using Bamboo filament, this will all be like put in there already, as you just select the type of filament you're using. But the printing temperature, you can see here, they have different types of print temperatures for different plates and nozzles as well. So you could say that the initial layer, like for the nozzle, you could say the initial layer, you could make that higher. Like it might be like this is for PLA, but you could say it's 240, and then it would go down to 235 or something. And then with the initial layer, well, you'd probably want to keep the bed temperature probably the same throughout, unless you needed to get it like really nice and hot in the first place. But I'd probably just keep it the same throughout, because sometimes with the variations of the bed temperature, then it can cause problems. So that's how you would do that for your individual like filaments there. And yeah, and then also the speed. So weirdly enough, you don't change the speed based on the filament, which I kind of feel like that is sort of how it should go, that you change the speed. And then you take that initial layer and have it set to 30. I like to have it so slow, 30 millimeters per second. And then maybe even take down I thought there was an option for the initial. Yeah, and so acceleration, you could take down the initial layer acceleration. I haven't actually like really experimented with that to know if that would actually be like a big difference or not. But like we talked about, the bridging speed, it's set to 50 millimeters. So if depending on the type of bridging, but like you might just play around with it and be like, hey, let's set it to 20 millimeters and see if that improves it. So that would be my suggestion with all of that. So I think that covers it. I think we're about out of time here. I've frozen over on Instagram because I guess Instagram freezes after an hour. So it's a good thing you're not on Instagram, because yeah, I froze. They just kicked me off on Instagram. But we are still live here on YouTube. So Outlaw271, thanks for the question. Appreciate it. And I'm really glad that it looks like we were able to help you a little bit, or kind of give you a better understanding of it. I know it can be so confusing when you're just getting into the 3D printing stuff to understand like what the heck is going on. And you sent me $10. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's super cool. And where I do this every 4 days a week right now. So Monday, Tuesday, not Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday at right around 11 a.m. Eastern time on YouTube primarily, and then some on Instagram. And let's see. So today's Friday. Yeah. So if it works, come back Monday, or just leave a comment like on one of my videos or this live stream or something, and let us know how it went, because that's fun to kind of see the results. As far as, it's one thing to kind of figure out the problem, and then once you see the results of the problem, it's very, very satisfying. So with that, I wish you all the best of luck. Have a wonderful weekend. Do some 3D printing, maybe some drone flying and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of ready for warmer weather. Just a little bit warmer. But well, this has been fun. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you again. I got to look at the camera when I say that, right? Because I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.